a whole banana with peanut butter on it. Like, for some reason, I just cannot. I can get it in my mouth, and by the time it gets to like about here, I just start like gagging. Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a few weeks since I have uploaded new content, and our schedule is slowly but surely kind of getting back to a normal tour schedule, so my weeks are filling up very quickly. But today's video is going to be your assumptions about me, and then I'm going to tell you if they are true or not. So I put out a poll on my Instagram, and you guys sent in so many of your assumptions about me, about my life, about my personality. Let's get started. So the first one is that I possibly have a fiery temper to accompany my red hair. So this is actually true to an extent. Jesus helps me with my fiery temper that matches my hair. But as a kid, it was kind of a running joke that Philip, my brother, could get me so fired up that my face would get as red as my hair. So I guess that's partly true, but Jesus does help me with that. You are more of an introvert than your sisters. And actually that is not true. So Courtney would be the biggest introvert, and probably then me, and then Brooklyn would be, she's not really an introvert at all actually. Courtney's the most introverted person. I'm probably second, and then Brooklyn's last. You care about what God thinks of you and not people. Yes, that would definitely be true, but I think that this is kind of a process for everyone. Because for those of you who know me personally, I'm an Enneagram 3, and the cons of our personality are basically caring too much about what people think. But then this is where Jesus comes in, and he really, when you're so anchored in him, your identity, who you are, you're so anchored in Christ, then you start caring more about what he thinks of you than what people think about you. So definitely that's a yes. You don't thrift shop, but you love a good deal or sale. So actually that would be correct. I love sales and I love getting a good deal. What girl doesn't? But I'm not much of a thrift shopper. I'm kind of a germaphobe. So like going into the Goodwill and stuff, I know you can find amazing stuff there. My sister Brooklyn does. But I think it's just the smell and the thought of people that I don't know wearing these clothes. So I can do it, but I definitely don't choose to, so yeah, that's probably correct. Okay, so somebody says they assume I am a picky eater, and actually that is not true. I think maybe more when I was younger, I probably was, but nowadays I can eat just about anything except for a whole banana with peanut butter on it. Like, for some reason, I just cannot. I can get it in my mouth, and by the time it gets to like about here, I just start like gagging. But other than that, honestly, I can eat almost anything. I love Mexican food, Asian food, Italian, Chinese, whatever. I love it all, so I'm not really picky when it comes to food. Okay, somebody assumes that I am the most easygoing of all the siblings, and actually that's probably not true either. Brooklyn would be the most easygoing of all the siblings. Brooklyn or Philip, they're both pretty chill and laid back, so probably not me. Okay, somebody assumes that I have one child. Well, that would be false. Somebody assumes I've never had a speeding ticket. Well, I really wish that this was true, but it's not. I've had 3 or 4 speeding tickets in the past 6 years, which I guess isn't terrible. My first speeding ticket was so depressing though, because I was going way too fast. I will say I deserved it, but they pulled me over in my driveway. And that was so embarrassing. Like, I pull into my driveway and I noticed the cops behind me. And I'm like, oh great. So I rolled down my window and I'm like, hi, I'm sorry. And he's like, where are you going? And I was like, well, that's actually my house. So that was pretty embarrassing, but unfortunately that assumption is not correct. I've had 3 or 4 speeding tickets. Okay, somebody said they assume that I am charismatic and I enjoy social gatherings, but I also appreciate alone time. And this would 100% be true. If you talk to any of my siblings or my parents, I am the one that loves the social gatherings the most. I'm always having a party at my house with young people from my church or all my friends and my cousins. So I love social gatherings, but I'm also 100% okay with having some alone time and like being away from the crowd. That would be a correct assumption. Somebody said they assume that I am full of life, always smiling, and just so excited about my Christian life. I love it. Well, I don't know if I am always smiling and happy, but I am very excited about my Christian life. To me, when you have a relationship with Jesus and He fills your life with so much peace and joy, even in the midst of hard things going on in your life, He really, truly gives you a happiness and a peace and a joy that passes all understanding. And it just fires me up when I talk about it because I want to share that with everyone, and specifically young people, teenagers, people in their 20s, that serving Jesus is the best life out there. Is it going to be perfect? Are you never going to have anything bad happen to you? No, because unfortunately we live in a fallen world and we are human. But will Jesus walk every step of it with you? Definitely. And it's the best life out there, and I'm so passionate about it and sharing it with my my followers, and then of course young people and teenagers. I'm so passionate about it. Okay, somebody assumes that my house is never messy. Well, that is 100% wrong. I wish that was correct, but no. I definitely have been doing better since I've gotten into my 20s about being neat and tidy, but I have not always been that way. So yeah, that would not be correct, unfortunately. So this one is kind of sad, but it says they assume that I grew up wealthy and privileged and I don't know what the real world is like. So unfortunately, it really makes me sad when people send these things because I can only share a portion of my life with you on social media. I'm a very private person, and so I like to keep a lot of dignity, and sharing the hard days and the things that I go through apart from my highlight reel on Instagram is hard for me. And so this definitely would not be correct, but we'll just leave it at that. It really makes me sad when people send these kinds of messages in because I can't control what people think of me, obviously. I always hope to portray a down-to-earth and real person, and I really hope that that's what you see on my Instagram and on my YouTube channel. So somebody assumes that I cook a lot for my parents, and that is actually very true. I love to cook. It's one of the ways that I relax and just kind of wind down. If I want to have a very relaxing evening, I will put in my AirPods and I will listen to a crime podcast while I cook supper. So that is one of my favorite things to do and my favorite hobbies. So somebody assumes that dressing modestly isn't a struggle for me. So to be honest, it really isn't a struggle. Thankfully nowadays, modesty and Princess Kate and Ivanka Trump have really brought in the modest fashion trend a lot more, and a very classy and kind of trendy, honestly, but those kinds of clothes are a lot more readily available now, so that is a big time blessing, and I don't really find it hard to dress modestly because I'm very passionate about it. And so yeah, somebody assumes that although I am human, I've chosen to trust God, and that has produced contentment. This is so true. I am so human, and I think a lot of people think because of my Instagram and I just post the fun things that I do, that I never have a bad day or a down day or a day where I'm sad or I'm feeling a little discontent at where God has me in my life right now. So that is definitely not true. I definitely have those days where I'm like, God, what are you doing? I have no idea what you're doing with my life right now. But then when I'm feeling those things, I go straight to God's Word to fill my mind with truth to combat all those lies that are being put into my mind. And I don't think that contentment is something that you just all of a sudden one day you're like, okay, great, I'm content. My mom and I have talked about this a lot, and I think for me specifically, it's a daily thing. It's a daily choice to say, okay, God, I kind of wish that I wasn't at this point in my life right now. I wish I was in the next stage, but that's when I choose to say, you know what, you have a purpose for this, and you know what's best, and it's going to be for my good and for your glory, and so I choose to be content every day. It's not easy sometimes, but it's definitely a daily choice. I don't think it's something that just all of a sudden, oh, I'm content and it's going to last forever. It's definitely a daily choice, a daily dying to self, to say, God, I want what you want for me more than I want what I want. So that is probably a very correct assumption for me. Okay, somebody assumes that I'm always smiling and can find God in most situations. So I don't know if I'm always smiling. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm definitely human and I have some down days. But when you have Jesus in your life, he just brings so much joy. And as a teenager and coming into my early 20s, I had some things happen in my life where I didn't understand why God was letting them happen. I used to think, okay, why does this have to happen to me? Like, why is this bad thing happening to me, or whatever the case may have been. And I started to realize as I got older, and as I decided to not be bitter about those things, but to try to learn through them and glean what God wanted to teach me through those things, I started to see God in most situations, as in, oh wow, I don't know why that specific thing had to happen to me, but I see what I learned from it, and I see how I matured as a Christian, or it strengthened my faith, or whatever the case may have been, and I see why God let that happen to me. So I don't know if that assumption is 100% correct, that I do try my best to just be happy and to see God try to find God in even the little mundane daily things of life. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to comment down below, and in my next video I am going to give a shout out to a few of my YouTube subscribers, and I may even do a little bit of a giveaway too. So don't forget to comment down below, and then like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. I'll see you next time. Oh dear, I'm not answering that. It's getting dark. I'm gonna redo that. I feel like I said it so weird. What's wrong with me? Okay. I'm ready. Alright.